What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA Show with me, Huzaifa, and our professional MMA fighter, Justin James, coming to us straight from Vegas. And we are very excited because we like to celebrate the little things, the little milestones. Actually, it's a big milestone for us. Maybe other people might view it as little, but we just hit or surpassed actually 300 subscribers on the channel, which is a really positive movement for the growth of the channel. We're very excited. We've got people that continuously come back and are enjoying our dialogue, which is great because we're enjoying the dialogue, and obviously this is a great privilege to get to talk to you guys about something that we love so much, regardless of anything else. Just the fact that we get to spend this time with like-minded people, it's so much fun. So thank you, everybody. And if you're new to the show, or you're watching this live or after the fact, and you also want to join along in this journey, feel free to subscribe. Give us a like if you do like the video. If you like what you see, you don't have to. If you don't like it, no worries. We understand. But anyways, Justin, crazy fights this weekend that we didn't even really talk about. I guess they weren't. For some reason, it wasn't on my radar. Like, I love Raul Rosas Jr. and I wasn't even fully in the zone that like he had a fight coming up. Remember, we saw him at your fight at Commerce Casino back in October. Love Raul Rosas. He came out, had a great performance. Dominick Reyes. I mean, it was a pretty cool card on Saturday. So we're gonna talk about all that. Before we get into it, what's new with you? What's going on with you?
Hey man, just getting ready for my Spain trip coming up, man. I get to go take some of my wrestlers that I train with. We're going to Spain for an international wrestling tournament. Not this weekend, but next weekend. So honestly, right now, just preparing for that and getting really excited. And talked to some people this morning about jumping on the 10-7. And for the fans watching, we're gonna have some really cool guests coming up here in the in the soon to be near future, sooner than we think. So I'm really looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, that's going to be super cool. Obviously, Justin trains out of Extreme Couture, so he knows everybody there is to know. So that's going to be fun. We've been talking about it over the weekend. How now the channel's kind of getting some good traction. We love to interview people. We love to talk to fighters that are doing big things, and that gets everybody else excited. So that's going to be really, really fun. We can't wait for that. Okay, so speaking of fighters and speaking of fights this last weekend, we want to talk about this first fight, Dominick Reyes. So before we even get into the fight was unbelievable. The way he finished his opponent was incredible. But what really impressed me about Dominick Reyes is, if you know his story and you know the amount of losses he had in a row, is his attitude and his mindset. Again, we always come back to that, at least with me, when it comes to why I love the sport so much, is hearing about their attitude and their mindset and how it propels them to victory and how it propels them to be grounded, all these amazing things. I can tell you, I want you to hear this, Justin, because I feel like he must be really in tune with his mind. I bet you he talks to sports psychologists. I have a feeling, because he's just so knowledgeable about how to keep a healthy mindset. So anyways, I'm going to turn it over to Dominick Reyes in his post-fight interview after he got this amazing victory. And then I want to talk about his victory as well and what you see for his future. So check this out.
Thank you. And my initial thought is it feels great. It feels amazing. Yeah.
Af-
Yeah.
After everything you've been through, is this just a big relief?
It's a relief. Absolutely. When he hit me, that was a relief. I was like, I'm still here. you know, the questions about, I had so many questions, just questioning myself. Um, then I saw my performance and I was like, wow. And I felt it out there. And I was like, I really do love this and I'm not going anywhere.
hmm Are we going to see a new you moving forward?
You're going to see me. This is me. I'm winning. Let's go.
What? Um,
Simple, to the point, short. What do you see when you see him talk like this? When you see him glowing, he's not going bananas. He's just like grounded. He's there. I feel like now, again, I want to know your opinion, because this is just me from watching on the outside. But to me, I'm like, he's not even letting him, like, he was so happy after the fight, but he's not letting himself go so wild. He said, I'm already grateful for everything I have. I'm grateful for my fiance, my family, my health, all these things. He nearly died, from a severe blood clot condition that he suffered from not too long ago, injury sustained in sparring. So what do you pick up from his attitude here?
Man, he's just embracing the moment, dude. It's like when you go on a skid, and again, I like to speak from experience. When you go on a skid, I mean, there are days that you question, can I still do this? Can I still win fights? You question your ability, you question your age, you question your everything. And so when you finally get in there and you put everything together and it all comes forward, and the performance he had against a very, very tough Dustin Jacoby. Let me tell you, Dustin used to train at Extreme Couture. Me and Dustin had the same head coach, so I know this guy really well. He is a world-class kickboxer. He's a K1 kickboxer. He is a phenomenal striker. He actually came to the gym because he felt his holes were his wrestling. For Dominick Reyes to go out there and put on a performance like he did and finish Dustin the way he did, I mean, the guy's on cloud nine. Let him enjoy this moment. Let him soak it up. I'm sure there's a lot of questions that he's going to have to answer to himself on what's next for him because, coming off a big skid. But dude, I love seeing it, man. And there's nothing I like to see more than a guy like Dominick Reyes, a guy that was at the top, kind of fall a little bit and then still get the guts to get in there and compete again and again. Even he's lost a bunch, man. He's still showing up. He's still making weight. He's still putting on good performances. Congratulations to Dominick Reyes on this win.
Also, he's young. I mean, I know you sometimes might disagree. Well, I mean, you tell me. He's 34 and he's in the light. I feel like that's pretty young, or am I wrong?
I mean, it just really, age does play a factor, but it's more about mileage, man. Dominick Reyes has fought John Jones. He went to a 5-round decision with John Jones. He's been in some wars, man. So, that's like having a 2024 car, but you have 200,000 miles on it. I mean, that those miles do add up, especially injuries, especially knockouts, especially, that shit adds up. That wears on your body. So, I mean, with the performance he showed up, he looked incredible. He looked fresh, but can he do it again? And if he can do it again, can he do it again and again and again? Because that's the thing with MMA. I always talk about the Toby Keith song. I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. All us fighters can show up and look like $1 million one day, and then the next 3 fights show up and shit the bed. And I really hope he's good. I hope he's back. I hope he's in the zone again. But again, time will tell. His performances over time are going to tell if he's back to his old self again. It's easy for him to say. I'm sure he's glowing with confidence. I'm sure he's excited. Like I said, when I beat Carson Harden, man, dude, I felt like I was on top of the world. So I can't imagine how Dominick feels. And, obviously time is what's going to decide what's next for him.
So an interviewer brought this up to him. They said they were talking about Dustin Poirier, and they said Dustin said, now after he's lost this last title opportunity, that he probably won't get another one. He's already had 3. The division is so stacked, like it's going to be quite a long road for him to get back to a title shot if he wanted to keep going for that. They said, so Dominick, did you think that you were sort of out of the running because you'd had a couple losses and so on and so forth? And he said, the lightweight division is different than light heavyweight. He's like, I can get that. I can get why Dustin said that. But he's like, for me, in this division, I feel like I always felt like I was a couple victories away from getting back in the mix and being right in title contention. So he's got this amazing victory, so much momentum. Everybody I see is just glowing about Dominick Reyes. People that are fans, people that weren't fans, but now are fans. How far off do you think he is? How many victories do you think he is away from another title shot?
How many losses did he have in a row?
4 in a row. Let me show you his record. I have it pulled up here on the side.
I mean,
so
he's at least 3 more. He's at least, 4 losses.
But look who he lost to. This is insane. 3 champs in a row. John Jones, Jan Blue. I mean, I don't know what.
Minimum.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he needs to be back to 500. He needs to be 4-4. And he's 1-4. I mean, 3 minimum, maybe 5-4. I mean, you can't have you. I mean, it's just tough. I mean, he's so tough, but it's tough for the business, especially when there's so many guys that are in line right now to be like, all right, oh well, this guy won a fight, now he deserves a title shot. I don't know, man. I think he should at least win 3 or 4 more.
Okay, fair enough. Well, he seems ready to go. He seems back in the mix. I thought he looked amazing. I was so impressed that I can't remember if it was a right hook or right cross that he caught him with. I'm blanking now on the exact shot, but it was such a great shot. Boom, clocked him and then just put him down, put him away. And actually, massive respect to Dustin Jacoby, but he was out on his feet. and then he collapsed, and then I think when he hit the ground, he came to, and he's like, wait, what happened? Why'd you stop the fight? But it was one of those things. Dominick really had him. So fantastic finish, and like I said, these types of stories, especially somebody like Dominick, who can just tell is such a good guy. I think everybody is just very excited for him as a result of not only the effort, not only the stuff he's had to go through, but the fact that you can see that positivity and that brightness shine through. So Dominick, if you're listening, congratulations. I sent you a message from our TEN7 Instagram just telling you what an inspiration you are. So if you get it, if you don't, no worries either way. Just want to send that your way. Okay, moving on to another fight on Saturday night that was extraordinarily impressive. This is Raul Rosas Jr. Now, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I want to bring up something that I remember we were talking about when we saw him fight almost a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, when I was visiting you in Vegas, and we were with Brian at that house party, and we saw him, and I think it was his second fight in the UFC, and he lost. And I remember you guys weren't so sure about his future anymore in the UFC. And I think one of the things you were talking about is this is going to be a tough, like, he's so early in his career. He was like 18 at the time. He had that loss. Everybody thought he was so favored to win, and he kind of lost, and he didn't look very good. And you were concerned about his future. Now he's come back since and has had 2 awesome victories back to back. This one was really impressive. Why was it that after that loss, like, what is it about the fight game or that trajectory of fights, when you saw that loss, did it start making you doubt Raul Rosas Jr., his future in the sport? And has it now changed back to where you're like, whoa, this guy's the real deal. He's proved that he's got what it takes.
Here's the thing with someone's knocking at my door. Excuse me a second.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, like, with MMA, like, shut up. Like, you can lose confidence. You lose a fight, like, you lose a fight, and at 18 years old. You ever thought about selling that bet? Yes, it's for sale. What do you want? It's my dad's. Can I give you his phone number? I'm in a business meeting right now. Let me get you his phone number. You can call him. Hey, 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. Here,
Some guy knocked on my.
I'll mute you. Mute you. Do you want me to mute you?
Yeah,
While
handle
you do
it.
it? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Justin's gonna jump back on. So here, while Justin, because I really want to hear his opinion on this. I remember seeing that fight, and I want to show you. Meanwhile, let's pull up his record so you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. But anyways, if you guys didn't see this fight, man, it was so dope. So basically, I mean, he got a really tough fight. His opponent was Ricky Turcios. I think I'm pronouncing that right, from the Ultimate Fighting Championship season with Conor McGregor, actually, if I remember correctly. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up his record here for you guys 1 second. But yeah, so 9-1, and the fight he lost was to, let's see, this guy Christian Rodriguez. Yeah, I think the guy was like 25 or 26. So again, and this is the thing that I want to hear Justin when he comes back. I want to hear his opinion on this. But it was very interesting that a lot of fighters that were in the area that we're talking about Raul Rosas Jr. after this one fight. Right, he came in hot. He was doing amazing. Had all this, clout behind him. Had massive momentum, and then he lost this one fight. And they were like, I don't know if he's going to be able to bounce back. And I think Justin's going to jump back and explain that part of it, the mentality, and what can happen and what does happen when you go through a loss. But to me, when I was watching, I was like, yo, this guy, he's still amazing. Big deal. He blundered. He had a little mishap. He lost to somebody maybe that he shouldn't have lost to. But I don't see why that's going to stop him. But it's that mental game that is so wild in this fight game, period. In fact, on that point, we're gonna later on in the show, we're gonna talk about this Tank Abbott interview. Tank Abbott was on Joe Rogan, and if you guys got it, we're gonna show you some footage of it. But all right, I'm gonna unmute Justin. But anyways, if you guys haven't checked out Tank Abbott in his interviews, this guy is totally just like, he just goes off on everybody, says whatever, is very entertaining. But anyways, my point is, Tank Abbott says that fighting is all mental. That's his belief. It's not about skill. And I mean, he's old school, right? But he said it's not about skill, it's not about technique, it's about what's in your mind and how much of a savage you are. If you're just going to keep going, you're not going to relent. So anyways, coming back to this, Justin, I wanted to hear your take on the mental side and why you were worried, I guess, or weren't so confident in Raul Rosas Jr.'s future.
Just basically because of his age, because he's young. I mean, he's being thrown into the UFC, which is the NFL of MMA. It's the biggest organization in the world, the best fighters in the world. To be 18 years old and to be able to hang mentally with 25, 28, 30-year-old professional fighters that have been doing it for years, man, that's a feat in itself, man. That's just incredible. And it's not that I ever question his ability or anything like that. And
Right.
it's not, it's just that the mental side of it. It's like, man, I'm 18 years old. I'm going up against a 30-year-old grown ass man that's been doing this for professionally in the UFC for a couple of years now. Man, if he starts questioning himself and really over the next years of development, he's already calling how he's going to be the youngest champion of all time. I just cannot see that happen. I can't see him hanging with anybody like Aljamain Sterling or Peter Yan or anybody like that to that degree. But with that being said, I mean, I've been proven wrong time and time again, man. I'm not really sold on this kid yet. Not yet. I think there's a lot of great things he displays. He's young. His age is obviously his best thing. He has his age working for him. But man, we've seen a lot of young kids come in here, start off, on fire. I think he's like 3-1 right now, or 2-1 in the UFC.
Yeah, in the UFC, 3-1. Yeah.
3-1 in the UFC. I mean, that's a great start, man. But can he keep it together? And as his opponents are going to get tougher too. You know what I mean? Right now, I feel the UFC is trying to give him some lesser opponents, just like they're doing with Paddy Pimblett, to try to build him. And I know that's smart for the business. But when he finally faces that dog that we're like, all right, this is a tough fight. Can he keep it together in those moments? And that's really going to tell the tale of how this guy's career is going to play out.
I mean, is there anything, I don't know about you, is there anything more exciting than seeing a kid like this? Now he's 19, and what you're saying, like these are the questions, and they're gonna be answered. You know what I mean? To me, there's just so much potential here. Him saying he wants to be the youngest champion. I mean, I just see him having these performances, and you know better, right? You know from the skill perspective, you know who he can compete with, who he can't potentially from what you're seeing. But like, that's so exciting to me to see what he can do by, like, let's say 21. That's 2 years of training and growth and learning, and he can get that much better exponentially faster because the body can recover so quickly. I mean, imagine at 19, like you can see he can do probably party like crazy and still get in there and train like an animal. I mean, not saying that he should or would do that, but you know what I'm saying? So to me, this is kind of at the heart of what MMA is all about, just watching this climb. Also seeing the redemption stories. By the way, Thomas Karina throws in a comment here. I want to highlight it. What's up, guys? Love the show. Jesse on fire. Yeah. We really appreciate it. We hope you are that 300 subscriber. That'd be pretty cool. If you are, that's awesome. If you're 301 or something thereafter, no worries. Welcome to the show. He's got one other comment I'm going to throw up here as well. Talking about Dominick Reyes, so much promise, and he definitely beat John Jones. I think in most people's book, and I hate that so much. Like, that's the part about MMA that is, the decisions are they're just heart-wrenching because you don't know what's what. It's very confusing as a fan. But anyways, definitely beat John Jones in my book. And he is so athletic, he could have been a football player. I think actually he played college football. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember if he played in the NFL or not. But
Talking about John Jones?
No, Dominick Reyes. I think that's who he's saying. He's saying Dominick Reyes is so athletic. But yes, he is a very athletic. Actually, when he was fighting John Jones, if you remember, that was his whole tagline. He's like, I'm an athlete, not just a fighter. I'm an athlete coming into mixed martial arts. And some people got mad at him about that. I don't know. They thought I don't understand. But I get what he was saying. He was like, look, all the coordination and the footwork and the agility that he had to develop for football, he's now redirecting it towards MMA, which was in his mind making him a super dangerous fighter, which he is. He is a very dangerous fighter despite the losses. So, but anyways, Raul Rosas Jr., to me, it's just so exciting to watch that climb and see what's possible with this massive runway coming up. So what do you see from next? Like who would be an opponent that is there one that comes to mind for you that you think would be a good matchup for him next?
I still think it's a little too early for calling out guys. I think, I don't know, in his post-fight speech, did he call anybody out?
I don't think he did, as I recollect. I remember him saying that he wanted the money, the bonus money to buy. He's going to buy his mom a house. He was talking about that a lot, but I don't believe he called anybody out.
And that's the thing, man. He's talking about, the 50. I want the 50 grand to buy my mom a house. For one, 50 grand isn't going to buy you a house, kid. That's just to talk about his maturity. And you're on the platform for 30 seconds and you're not making call outs. My biggest discrepancy with young fighters up and coming is it's great to be a good fighter, but good fighters are a dime a dozen. You go to Russia, you can pick up all these guys that are 25-0, they're all studs. Why aren't the UFC signing them? Because they're not good on the mic. And I'm telling all these kids, when you're up and coming, it doesn't matter how good you are. I mean, well, it does to an extent. I mean, if you're like super, super good, like UFC can invest some time and some money into you and get you good on the mic. But these guys like him, man, you have 30 seconds to a minute to get out there and get you known, because guess what? Out of sight, out of mind. If you're not calling anybody out, and you're trying to rise up, it's just not going to be a thing. That's something that people and fighter, or I should say not people, but fighters need to practice, man. Like I'm telling you, before every single fight, because we all plan to win. I have a post-fight speech. I practice my post-fight speech, or maybe not practice, but I have an idea of what I'm going to say, who I'm going to call out, how I'm going to call them out. I have to make it interesting. And if you're going to get on the mic and you're not going to make it interesting, next. And there's too many good fighters that are just in and out because they can't talk on a mic. Bilal Muhammad's one of them.
So I'll tell you my take, because public speaking is my favorite thing. I love doing it. I've been doing it since I was a kid. And I think, okay, like for example, I think you're really good on the mic, right? Like right now, but even after your fights, like in general, you're very good on the mic. And I think one of the reasons why is because you've gotten to a point where you're comfortable enough by practice. And it's not necessarily rehearsing a particular speech, but just by enough practice, you've gotten comfortable enough where when you get a mic or when you're on camera or whatever, you can be yourself. And you're just talking like you're talking to like me, or, as if this conversation is being recorded or whatnot. And I think that's the key. I'm not going to name specific fighter names. I'm not trying to throw shade, but there are some fighters, when they get on there, it's almost like, it seems like they're putting on an act, not even like necessarily good act, but you feel something inauthentic. And that, I think, turns fans off. What we want, one of the most amazing things about Khabib, for example, is you could just feel that authenticity. I know you're not as big of a Khamzat fan as I am, but Khamzat, you just feel his authenticity. Sean Strickland, you feel his authenticity. You feel like you're getting a real glimpse into what they're truly thinking and feeling, and it's excellent. Actually, Chito Vera is very good. So I think these are the fighters, and I don't necessarily think it's like, hey, you either got the personality or you don't. I think what it is if you can just get to that point where you're stripping away the other elements that maybe somewhere along the line somebody told you had to act like this or talk like this. If you strip that away and are just yourself. Bo Nickel is great on the mic. He doesn't do anything crazy. But he's his true, authentic version of himself, and it resonates, in my opinion. Do you agree with what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely. It's like Colby Covington. I've lost a lot of respect for him. He was fun on the mic for a while, but now he just sounds ridiculous. But I'm telling you, man, anybody watching, for all you up and coming fighters out there, it's one thing to be good in the cage, but you have to be good on the mic, man. Everyone talks, oh, Bilal deserves a title shot because of his skill level. Listen, Bilal does deserve a title shot, but the UFC doesn't want him as their champ because nobody cares to watch him fight. Nobody cares to watch him on an interview. Like Conor McGregor's lost, like, I don't know what, 4 fights in a row, but every time he's in a presser, everybody's going to tune in because they want to hear what he has to say. Not because he knocks people out. They want to hear what he has to say. And people need to understand that.
Conor is such an interesting one, because even some people have accused him of putting on an act, which I don't even think is true. I think that is his authentic self.
I think it's authentic. I do.
Yeah,
I don't know the guy, but I think it's authentic.
I think so too. And then Conor is almost like an entity from another dimension. He's just like, there's something about that combination of humor and confidence and just outlandish things that he says and does. This is why we need him to win. We're actually, let's move right along to the next topic, because we're talking about Conor. Somehow he came up in the conversation. Conor versus Chandler, I believe, is seemingly official. So when was it, on Friday or something? I think it was Friday that this came out, and Louisa sent us that. Oh yeah, because we did the show early. It came out that they had reposted like this, or posted a new trailer that is for the fight for UFC 303 on June 29th. And I feel like it's a go. The Weasel just did a video too, basically saying, all right, it's now official. I'm going to pull it up actually here on the side. But we've had this crazy up and down press conference canceled. Justin, do you think after all that's happened, do you think that the presser being canceled and all this speculation has actually made the fight an even bigger spectacle, or you think it's hurt it?
No, I don't think it's hurt it at all. If you have Conor McGregor's name in the banner, nothing can hurt it, man. I'll tell you what, I'll be honest. I wonder, because Conor to me is a better version of Chael Sonnen on the mic. Conor is very particular about how he puts things online. Sometimes he's outlandish, then he'll delete it, then he'll post like, Oh, it looks like he's injured. Oh, I think he does these things. This is what I'm talking about, being good on the mic. And this guy is just a genius. I think he posts shit intentionally, trying to antagonize fans to stir up controversy so guys like me and you can talk about him. And then whoever watches our show is going to spread the information that we're spreading, that he spread to us. And then it's
Yeah.
this fireball effect. Conor McGregor is a fucking genius, man. And I mean, he is, if on a rating scale on the mic and in his social media postings, he is a perfect 10 out of 10. And the UFC is
Yes.
lucky to have him.
Oh, and we're lucky to have him as fans. Dude, you know how excited I've been for already weeks, and we're still, what, 2.5 weeks out from the fight? We are lucky. And that's why if you're not excited for this fight, I don't know what to tell you, because yes, I get it. Some people might even call me a casual for being so excited about a Conor fight, right? Because he's been out of the mix for so long. And yeah, don't get me wrong. We love everybody else in the UFC. We love the fights, but there's something about it. There's something he's got, and it's special, and it's on a timeline, and we hope you tune in, and we hope you see the magic. Okay. We got a couple of other comments here from Torrin Brown. He says Conor was just playing mind games with Chandler. I mean, it's possible that that's what was happening. I just
And
don't know.
publicity. It's a publicity stunt and mind games and all the above, man. Now Chandler's like, fuck, do I go train today? Do I need to train? Is the fight on? Is it off? Are they replacing the opponent? When nothing's changed at all, dude. Conor McGregor's a genius.
Okay, so now we're going to listen just a quick clip to the Weasel. Shout out to all these amazing MMA YouTubers that I watch their content all the time. Here we go.
Fight is happening. Michael Chandler just spoke about the whole Conor McGregor situation where, he may have been pulling out, the presser got canceled, all that sort of stuff. Well, he just came out and said that the fight is on. And there's also a new trailer, which looks like it's a bit of a confirmation that the fight is still going on. But Chandler did say that there was a point where it looked like the fight wasn't going to happen. He said that he was told that the fight looked like it was going to be off for whatever reason that was. We don't know if it was an injury. We don't know if it has something to do with the media obligations, like press conferences, interviews, and all that stuff that Conor maybe didn't want to be a part of. We don't know if it was like him trying to negotiate for something. I don't know. We have no idea why Conor wasn't going to be part of the fight, but now it's intact. And Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler is going to take place on June 29. And man, it's probably going to be one of the best fights of the entire year, or at least like the most exciting. 300 is big, and now there's the Conor fight. This may go down as one of the biggest years for pay-per-view fights in a very, very long time. And
I agree. I feel like that. I feel like we're just getting banger after banger. Every one of these UFC events, I am just freaking out of excitement. Then we got these fight nights. I mean, this fight night last Saturday was ill. It was amazing. Actually, it happened to be on. This is crazy. It happened to be on at the hotel bar when we were all having our little like happy hour meet and greet. I'm at a tutoring conference, by the way, right now. Okay. And there's actually a bunch of other tutors here that are big mixed martial arts fans. And shout out to Jackie and Josh. So we were just in the bar hanging out, and then all of a sudden the fights are on. I'm like, no way, this is amazing. So that's how I saw Raul Rosas Jr. And I saw the last 3 fights, Dominick Reyes, and obviously the main event, Conor with that controversial stop. But anyways, my point is, we've had some incredible events this year, and not to be just a total UFC whatever, just a total fan for the UFC, but like I can't help it. We're having great events, so this is super exciting. Okay, have you changed your mind, or has anything changed in terms of where you go in terms of predictions for this fight based on all the antics, based on the fact that Chandler even was told that it was off? Like, do you think that there is still some sort of injury, but Conor's just like, all right, F it, I'm going to fight through it?
I don't know, man. Again, I look at UFC narrative. The UFC wants Conor to win so bad, so bad. Like, Michael Chandler's a dog. Conor McGregor hasn't won a fight in a long time. With that being said, Michael Chandler, the only fight he's won out of his last 4 is Tony Ferguson, who hasn't won a fight in 7. So, I don't know. I just look at the dog fight he's been in. Now, I give Mike a slight advantage just because of, he's been more active in the recent years. He's not coming off a terrible leg break. I know Mike Chandler's going to come in there and has devastating leg kicks. And is he going to be able to get to Conor's injured leg? Is he going to be able to try to devastate that leg? I think it's his left leg, from the southpaw stance. I'm going to stay away from this one. And, I was actually over the weekend, from a betting standpoint, I'm going to stay away from this one. And I was talking to a buddy of mine that Aaron, who's a professional gambler, and he asked me if he could come on the show and talk about some betting stuff.
Okay,
with the show, and I think that'd be
that'd
pretty
be
interesting.
awesome.
But as a bettor and a guy that follows professional gambling, I'm going to stay away from this one because my heart says Michael Chandler, but the UFC narrative says Conor McGregor, and I know how much money it'd mean to the UFC if Conor won. So I think I'm going to stay away from this one.
Fair enough. Well, I'll tell you this. What I keep hearing fighters say is so Chandler has been saying he's going to come forward. He's going to go at Conor and he's not going to back down. So people are saying in response to that if Conor still has some semblance of that same timing and accuracy and ability to kind of get out of the way of shots and counter effectively, that he's going to win. That he's gonna knock out Michael Chandler, and that's the question, and that's why we love this sport, because we don't know. He's had the losses. He had that horrific leg injury. Michael Chandler's so tough, but Conor used to be so good. Is he still that good after this long recovery period? I think he is. I have to believe that he is, but we don't know, and the question will be answered June 29th. I mean, can you imagine it? It's just so exciting. It's so exciting. You know, they're not setting him up with, I don't know, I can't even think of a fighter that whatever, some like unranked guy, setting him up with Michael Chandler. This is wild. So anyways, I cannot wait for this fight. And we haven't even talked about Hamzat versus Whitaker. We'll do that probably on Friday because the following week is that fight week. Oh my God. That's going to be incredible as well. That's going to be the same week that I go out and do the commentating. That's going to be that night. By the way, where I'm doing the
That's right.
commentating for
You're
Fusion
going. Yeah,
Fight
you're
League.
going to for Fusion Fight League, dude.
Yeah,
You're gonna love it, man. You're gonna have so much fun out there. I can't wait.
I'm gonna do the fight commentary, and then hopefully right after that we'll go out and I imagine watch the UFC fight. So that's like basically my birthday present. So thank you, Justin. I appreciate that. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Now we're gonna move on. So let's go Conor. Well, let's go Chandler too. We're fans of both, but just for the sake of the sport and the company and all his fans, let's go Conor. Here we go. Final topic. We've talked about Tank Abbott before and his crazy interviews, but he got invited. I can't even believe this. He got invited to be on Joe Rogan's podcast, the biggest platform on the planet. And this guy is just talking wild about people. So I'm not even going to say anything. He's just, dude. He's the best. He's the best. We have to get Tank Abbott. Okay, I know he just did Joe Rogan and where our show is tiny in comparison, but we have to get Tank Abbott. Tank Abbott, if you hear us, you got me into the sport. I started watching clips of you back when I was in college in 2000. So almost 24 years ago, just so blown away by your fights against, everybody. Obviously, I think a lot of people saw you fight Kimbo Slice, but that was kind of more at the tail end of your career. But having amazing fights against Vitor Belfort, again, just everybody, the who's who, and just smashing people. So anyways, let's go. Oh wait, we got some comments from Toron Brown here. One sec. Jamal Hill and Carlos Ulberg should be a good fight. Yeah, hell yeah. That's going to be a great fight. Also, don't forget, we got what's it called? Ian Gary versus Michael Venom Page.
Yeah, that's
should
a good fight.
Should have been Colby.
I'd rather seen Colby, but
I know. Colby, you ruined the year. I'm so mad at Colby. But anyways, we got one more comment too. Did you guys see Eddie Hall versus Nafati brothers? No, I didn't.
I did. I saw that. Yeah, a couple people sent it to me. So Eddie Hall's like the world's strongest man.
Yeah,
he fought these two brothers, and he just was picking them up and power bombing them, slamming them around the ring. It was like crazy. Like it looked like a circus act. It was crazy.
Was it mixed martial arts or
was
it
two? It was 2-on-1. These two little brothers fight the world. This guy, I think he's the world's strongest man or something like that.
Yeah, he is.
But he just like one hand, just pick him up, slam him down. But it was. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you on Instagram. It's pretty funny.
Okay, wait, I want to show this comment too by Torin Brown because he raised an interesting point, something that I've thought about too, but I don't know. He says he doesn't think it's going to be a good fight. I've heard people say this because of their fighting styles, because of MVP's kind of point fighting style. Ian Gary likes to counter. Do you agree with this?
I can see what he means. Absolutely. A lot of times you get two high-level strikers in there that are going to want to counter punch their counterpart essentially, and then they just kind of stand off in the stare down. You remember like Tyrone Woodley versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is that point sparring fighter, kind of like Michael Venom Page, like Torrin's talking about. So dude, that was 24 minutes. That was 24 and a half minutes of a snooze fest. So I could see that happen. But Ian Gary has so much going for him right now. I think he's going to want to go out there and put a statement on. I don't think they're going to play counterfight. I think Ian Gary's going to go forward. And I mean, maybe I think that, maybe I just hope that, and I don't know the difference. But I'm really hoping Ian Gary goes out there and tries to make a statement on Michael Venom Page. If he doesn't, it could be a snooze fest. I do see what he's saying, and I could agree. If that does happen, I can understand that.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ian Gary goes for a submission. I mean, he's been doing all that training in Brazil. He's talking about wanting to be a master of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or be a real master's, maybe the wrong word, but be a really proficient Jiu-Jitsu expert, Jiu-Jitsu fighter. I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to showcase that variability in his skill set. So, and by the way, I think Kevin Holland took. Didn't Kevin Holland take MVP down, Michael Venom Page? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
But anyways, I don't think Michael Venom Page's ground game, he seems to be more of a striker, more of a point fighter. So that could be an interesting thing. But this whole card is stacked. Oh my God. Everybody in the world is going to be watching this card. Okay. Now we're going to finish off. We're going to move on. Thank you, Tyrone, by the way. We appreciate all the comments, and Stein wins as well. All right. So just listen to a little bit of this. You guys are just going to crack up. You guys got to watch the full thing. It's nuts. Oh wait, unmute this.
He was a guy that could point out the truth, and people would see that, and the DA would go, okay, community service. I'd go do that at the boxing gym.
He's talking about how he used to go into bars and just beat people up, and he used to get arrested, but he's like, but good thing I had a good lawyer. So he's like, I'd go in and then they just give me community service, and he'd go and he'd take care of the community service by giving free boxing lessons.
Oh my God, what a legend.
After he's going out, and he's talking about he's taking like, just Big John talked about how he would just drink Stoli vodka all the time, so he'd just be going into bars, getting hammered, and just starting fights with everybody. Okay, so listen, and like he looks so reserved now, it's crazy. Anyways,
so anyway, so John checked into it, and he goes, no.
He's talking about Big John, by the way. He's talking about why him and Big John have always had beef, and he thinks that Big John hates him. Big John responded to this, by the way, which I'll talk about in a second.
This guy really is a street fighting legend like Tank Murdoch. And obviously the guy's dad was a cop, and that underlying, it doesn't matter, but he did not like the fact that I came along after the Gracies, because he was like a stooge for Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and the whole 9 yards. And when I came along, I kind of said, no. Fighting is emotional, and it's not a skill. It's not a skills match. It's what you have in your head. And he obviously doesn't have anything in his. But so at Puerto Rico, I used to go around to dojos and go in there after I'd cruise around drinking a 12-pack in my van. And we'd pull up to dojos and walk in there and go, does anybody want to fight?
Yo, wait, Justin, hold on. Let me stop this. Have you ever heard anything like this in your life?
Guy's an animal, man. That's why he's a legend of the sport, and people need to put respect on his name. He's a fucking legend.
Dude, what the hell? Like driving around getting hammered and then just go, like, that's insane. Most people would do that and would die, and he was going in there hammered and beating people up. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me finish this. Let me just play a little bit more. But yes, you've never heard of this before, right? And any of your friends?
I haven't heard this, no.
This is complete insanity, but this is real. This is really
but
happening.
I mean, I mean, for him being a high level fighter, but I mean, I do know guys, you know, I come from a podunk town, Richmond, Michigan, that drive around and go bar to bar, and they're looking for bar fights there all night. So, I mean, it's a little outlandish, but it's pretty awesome. Tank Abbott's a legend.
I mean, but going into dojos, forget about bars and get what a nutcase. Okay, check this out.
And nobody did. And so I lost my train of thought on that. But, oh, this is it. Okay, so when I was working out with weights, and I wasn't a strong day for me. So you have to know when to say, no, not lifting today. So I felt compunction, and I needed to go do something. I said, let's go check this jiu-jitsu place out. they had flyers at the Westminster Boxing.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm gonna pause here because this story goes a little long-winded. But basically, he ends up going to this jujitsu place, and him and his buddies, they challenge these guys. And he goes on to tell the story about, like, actually they did mess up his two buddies, or one of his buddies, or something like that. And then he starts rolling around with one of the guys, and he was saying because he was so strong, he got him. And he put his fist up because they were doing straight jujitsu. They weren't like doing MMA. He put his straight fist up to like show that he was about to pound the guy in the face. The guy was like, no, stop. And then they got up anyways, and it goes into like I think they get into like this all out brawl. I can't remember exactly. I won't play the rest of the clip, but anyways, banana stuff that this guy used to do. And then he eventually got kicked out of the UFC because he threatened Big John's wife and said he was gonna effing kill her. Yes, Big John talked about it on the Weighing In podcast earlier today, so I heard that too, and that was his side of the story. He talks a lot of smack about Big John. We all love Big John. Yeah, how could you not? Like, the guy seems like a really great guy, and he built the foundation of the rule sets and all these things for refs and judges alike. But anyways, they have their beef. That's that. But Tank Abbott, come on, we got to give it up to the OG of the UFC, one of the founding fathers of this sport that we love so much. So if you haven't checked out that full interview, you got to. We're gonna try and get Tank Abbott on the show. You guys are gonna be surprised. We're gonna get a lot of guests because we got our ways, we got our methods, and we're gonna do it. So, anyways, again, this is a celebration show because we passed 300 subscribers, and that may not seem like a lot to a lot of people. And like I've mentioned before, I've been on this YouTube journey, and each and every milestone is one to celebrate and one to be excited about, especially if you feel like you've got something to share, you've got some momentum, and you're onto something good. And I think we are, for sure. And we've only got more stuff that's on our way that's going to be even better and better. Last but not least, make sure to check out the Hamzat video I posted last week. I think you'll be interested if you are a Hamzat fan. You might hate me if you don't like Hamzat, because I go on to say why I think he's going to be the greatest fighter of all time. So check that out. Worked really hard on it. And we'll see you guys later in the week with tons more content coming your way, and obviously another show on Friday. All right. Like that. Click that like button if you like what you see. Click subscribe if you want to see more. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy.